Thanks for listening to the BarkerCast, the only Clive Barker podcast. In episode 345, Jose and Ryan review the results of Duels of Blood Volume 5, Round 5, and move on to Round 6, where you can vote for your favorite Barker characters in the final round. Plus, a new movie announcement with Simon Bamford, and we discuss a new article about Hellraiser movie viewing order. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive, an advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and up to 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. Click the side banner and follow the links to the Etsy shop and have a look. Welcome to this is episode 345 of the Clive Barker Podcast. Good evening, Jose.
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing tonight?
Good. I think I have a cold or something.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Hope it's not another flu.
Yeah, I've been sneezing all day.
Yeah, me too. I think it's just allergies.
Maybe.
It's allergy season. It's coming.
Yeah, I've been mostly just working late. I've got hearings again tomorrow.
Oh no!
So I'll be working late again.
Oh well. I hope that you win these hearings like you won the last bout of hearings.
Thank you. Yeah, I should. This is a guy who refused to allow us to inspect his property. That's the lamest part, is that people appeal their value, and then they say, oh no, you're not coming on my property, like they're doing a favor. It's like, that's the whole part of the process that they signed up for.
Sure.
They want to show us the issues that they have so that we can lower their value, but then they don't want to let us on their property.
Yeah, I could see that. There's a lot of people out there who don't like the revenues. Not a lot to talk about tonight.
No, but Duels of Blood had a shocking number of votes.
They did.
It's grown a lot every round. The first round was in the single digits, but now round 5 we were getting 1,400 plus votes.
Yeah, almost 1,500.
Yeah,
and it was just 2 matches.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
And weird results again, right?
Yeah.
We've got Narcisse versus Bright Eyes and The Voice.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm the last matchup is going to be really weird. It's going to be really weird because Bright Eyes and The Voice win.
Yeah. Against and 60% of the votes, right? So Narcisse made a pretty good showing. So it's not just like one person voting repeatedly. But for some reason, I don't know what's going on, but Bright Eyes and The Voice won. So,
I am stunned and baffled at this result. I am really flummoxed, I would say.
Yes, exactly.
Why? How? Like, it's an obscure character from a short few pages of comic book story from the 90s, and they have won against Narcisse. Okay, well, that's they're one of the finalists. I guess this round ended up being pretty surprising.
Yeah, people are really voting heavily for the underdogs, or in this next case, the undergods.
The undergods.
Because it's Hapexamendios versus Pi Opa. And the same percentage, right? 60% to 40%, just like on the other match, went to Hapexamendios.
Yeah, this was nuts. So at the end of this, we're going to have the final round, round 6, is going to be Hapexamendios versus Bright Eyes and The Voice. And
yeah, okay.
At this point, I don't know. Is Bright Eyes and The Voice going to win against Hapexamendios?
I have no idea.
My God.
They got almost an identical amount of votes.
They do, yeah. Well, they have 6 more votes than what Hapexamendios had. So
yeah.
Doesn't look good for fans of the First Dominion. Get voting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think my vote next time is going to be Hapexamendios. I mean,
sure.
Bright Eyes and The Voice are cool and all, but Hapexamendios is kind of a key figure in Imagica and somebody whose influence is sort of working its way into our Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I mean, part of me wants to troll this and just vote Bright Eyes on The Voice.
Okay.
So we can have like a complete random character just winning an entire round against some of the major hitters from all of Clive Barker's characters. So, wow. I don't think this one is even a Clive Barker character. It's just a Hellraiser Cenobite.
Yeah.
That was from the comics. So anyway, wow. Whatever fan is voting out there, wow. I'm surprised.
When you go to vote on Sunday, the new round 6 will be up, and so you'll be able to vote as soon as this podcast is uploaded. So as you're listening to this, go over to duelsofblood.com and vote for either Bright Eyes and the Voice or Hapexamendios, and that'll be up for 2 weeks, and then we'll have the final result.
Wow, I wonder who's going to win.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I did not expect either of these characters to make it this far.
I'm glad that we ended up doing another Duels of Blood round because this was exciting and fun. I didn't expect any of this to happen. Some of these matches have been very, very strange, but here we are.
Yeah. So from news from the Reef, right? We've got it's a little bit of a slow news day.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, we've got two things, and the first one, I hate to say this because I don't want to sound mean, but that article is sort of a filler, isn't it?
It is totally a filler. It's a Collider article that I found posted 5 days ago saying how to watch the Hellraiser movies in order chronologically and by release date. And
well, yeah, they tell you the order chronologically, which okay, fair enough. For if people don't know because they don't have numbers in their titles,
well,
they don't want
in order of release,
they don't want to read the release dates. I guess maybe this is helpful for that, but then they say, oh yeah, and if you want to watch them in chronological order of events, it's pretty much the same as the release date.
Which is weird because they have... Okay, so of course, everybody who's listening to this knows exactly the movies in order of release. It's Hellraiser, Hellbound, Hellraiser 3, Bloodline, Inferno, Hellseeker, Deader, Hellworld, Revelations, Judgment, and, they include the Hellraiser from 2022, which is interesting, just keeping it alive here. But then they say the movies in chronological order, and it's Hellraiser 1, Hellraiser 2, Hellraiser 3, Hellraiser 4, which I question, and then they say Hellraiser, Hellseeker.
Hellraiser 4 is tied to what happened at the end of Hellraiser 3, right? The modern day events.
But it basically was supposed to be the end because it would end in the future, 2020, 2127.
Yeah.
In this Minos space station, and then they go back to Hellraiser.
A long gap in time where you can fill with other sequels, which they did.
Yeah, that's fine. But then, as expected, because they can't say what the chronological order is, because some of these movies are kind of standalone, then they go, the Hellraiser movies that can be watched as a standalone stories. It's an actual section of the article. And that has nothing to do with what they wrote in the title. And then they put Inferno in there, and Deader, and Hellworld, and Revelations, and Judgment. I mean, okay. I appreciate the fact that they ended up writing this by the paragraphs, talking about each movie. That's a way for people who don't know the Hellraiser series to actually go in and see if they're interested in one of these movies to watch. But it's like you said, this is pretty much filler. Wow. Pay by the word, huh?
Yeah, it's the kind of article that drives me crazy because when I write articles for our blog, I don't do when there's Hellraiser news, I don't spend 4 paragraphs saying what the plot of Hellraiser is because I figure anybody who's found their way to our blog, they know what the plot of Hellraiser is. We don't have to write that.
Yeah. I mean, we're not a general kind of website for people who just like generally horror. We're pretty much niche for people who like Clive Barker and already are into Clive Barker to the point where they listen to a podcast about all that stuff.
It's like Candyman tells the story of a painter. Like, oh, I always have to skip through that. Okay, it's like, oh, nope, still talking about the plot of Candyman.
Yeah, but don't forget, then you have to spend another 2 paragraphs spoiling the Books of Blood story.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
But it was interesting. Yeah.
Sorry, Collider, but maybe
it's still a topic that allows people to write articles about Hellraiser, and it's kind of neat to see them, popping up like this 5 days ago. But wow.
Did it pop up in a Hellraiser Facebook group or something?
No, I just looked on Google for news that was from this week, and this one popped up right at the top.
All right. So if you want to know the order that the Hellraiser movies came in that don't have numbers, you can read this article and then you'll know.
Or you can go to IMDb and look at it there.
Look at their release dates.
Same thing.
Well, it is kind of hard with Hellseeker and Deader, right? Because Deader and Hellworld were filmed in the same year.
Yeah, but Deader came first, Hellworld came later.
Yeah, they're 7 and 8 respectively.
Yep. They were released on the same year, I think.
Yeah.
In June and September of 2005.
I remember being shocked about that, and when I was in the video store, like I had just watched Deader, and then there's like Hellworld on the shelf.
Oh, I knew exactly what this was about. I'm like, oh my God, they're dumping these movies.
Yeah. Well, I was a Clive Barker purist, so I didn't really care for the Hellraiser sequels.
Yeah. Anyway,
Except
so
for
that's
1 and 2.
That's one of the two things that we have to talk about. The other one is that Simon Bamford released something the other day. He announced that he's going to be in a movie called Project Skyquake, right?
Yeah, and he's talked to us about this a long time ago. Project Skyquake. And so now I guess it looks like it's finally getting released.
It's finally here.
Yeah.
So I looked up Project Skyquake on IMDb. Here's a little bit of what the IMDb says as the synopsis. After strange trumpet-like sounds in the sky have been reported at locations around the world, a wannabe journalist sets out to investigate with his best friend, but they soon find themselves facing an encounter with terrifying results. Directed by Joseph Galai. It's got Tom Sizemore, Laura Ellen Wilson, Laura Saxon, Robert Losardo, and Simon Bamford.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I wonder if this is a religious kind of thing going on with the trumpets in different parts of the world. So I don't know a lot about this. I just know what I saw on IMDb, but definitely interesting.
It'd be interesting to see, or if they say, oh, this must be where that biblical reference comes from. Sometimes movies do that.
Yeah, and Tom Sizemore. I mean, I haven't seen him in anything since Twin Peaks Season 3. Oh. And before that, God knows when I saw him last. I'm curious. I'm glad that Simon Bamford landed a role in a movie like this. As for Robert Losardo, I don't know a lot about him. I know he was in Death Race with Jason Statham. Oh. And I think he was in CSI Miami.
So is this a U.S. movie or a British movie?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine. Let's see. That's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, we'll learn more about it. Maybe after it comes out, it'll give us an excuse to talk to Simon Bamford again.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the names in the crew, though, seem to have names that are not American. So I don't know exactly where they're from, but they sound like they're all from like Eastern Europe or something like that.
Oh, so maybe that's the location at least that it was filmed. Well, we're looking forward to it, Simon. We'll have to check that out and then maybe talk to him about it. And we could start doing more audio commentaries for things like this. I mean, we have done the Dark Ditties. We've sort of branched off into those, and we talked about doing Grandma's Boy with the people from
Little Spark Films.
Yeah, and they ended up watching it on Twitch, I think yesterday.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I missed that. I just saw that after the fact.
Yeah, I was still at work when I saw that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be fun. And the Clive, for people that don't remember, we've talked about this briefly, but the connection to Grandma's Boy and Clive Barker is the Clive Barker's Demonic, the game. Xbox 360 game. The reason I bought my Xbox 360 is featured heavily in that movie.
Oh no!
They talk about it like it's the new cool game or whatever. And
yeah. But that game never happened. It was never finished.
Nope, it sure wasn't.
You were supposed to play like this demon creature that would take possession of other bodies and seek revenge. You're summoned by a lady, right? That wants revenge, and then you go after the evil guys. And
you can possess like bigger, more powerful people until you kind of use them up, and then you find somebody else. I think it seemed like what they got done wasn't very complete, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't looked into demonic in a long time. I don't think I've researched anything into it. That seems like an interesting topic for us to one day maybe bring to the podcast.
Yeah, well, and I think we talked to Chris Valesco, about that game, because I think he had started making music for it.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. I think that rings a bell. Yep. Did you know on IMDb it says the game was introduced in 2006 movie Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
I was just looking up stuff about demonic. Yeah.
I had been waiting and watching the Xbox 360 like news or upcoming releases site for it, and it just kept saying like, coming soon. And then I one time I rented that game or that movie, and that game was in it. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It was probably just rendered alpha footage of playing the game or something.
Well, and they're using an original Xbox in the movie, playing an Xbox 360 like demo game.
Oh yeah, nobody was going to notice that. It's just background stuff.
I noticed that.
Yep, I know. I wish we'd know more about demonic, because
we ended up
it was supposed to be made
Jericho.
by Majesco. It was Majesco that was working on it.
Yeah.
The team behind the Blood Rain series teamed up with horror movie director Clive Barker to bring you demonic. It was going to be at the time a next-gen title.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. That's sad. There's still a trailer out that you can find it.
Yeah.
And it was John Woo, the director, was going to be involved in that too. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I think there was going to be some sort of involvement by John Woo.
So coming next, we will be recording Jericho Squad 77. We actually we tried to do that last weekend, and we had a little bit of a scheduling issue at last minute that stopped us. So we're doing it again this coming weekend to be released the following weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, because I'm interested in knowing what the investigator is how is it gonna be like for us to talk to him and all that stuff. What was the name of the investigator again?
Dexter Handy.
Dexter Handy, yes sir, Dexter Handy, the man that I've already lied and painted myself into a corner with.
Yeah. You gotta maybe turn it over to the somebody else.
Yeah.
Let them squirm for a little while.
Sure. I think that's fair.
We're also going to be doing a commentary for Mule Skinner Blues, which is a Clive Barker produced movie, mockumentary, right?
Yeah.
And Rosemary's Baby, which is under the U for Unborn section of Clive Barker's A to Z of horror recommendations. Yes.
Yeah. And let me just quote the tag from Demonic. It's like, be good at being bad. Sorry, I was just watching the trailer for this. This looked pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think we put the trailer audio into our episode one time.
Oh, okay, cool. Because there's a trailer where it's saying stuff like next generation physics, and it's like the most basic stuff that you would see in a game nowadays. It's but hey, it was 2006, right?
Yeah. Next generation was going from Xbox to Xbox 360.
Yeah. Interesting. We should try to gather up as much information as we can. See if there's anything there for a topic.
Well, we did have a whole episode about games.
Yeah, games that never happened.
Yeah, well, and the games that did happen.
Oh yeah, Jericho and
and we talked about the Hellraiser video game that never happened, and Demonic, and then we also talked about Jericho, and we talked about the Nightbreed games on Amiga and stuff.
Yeah. So this week there was no Down to Hell, Down to Hell with Doug Bradley at the Horror Hub Marketplace.
Oh,
I think the last episode was just a replay of the interview they had done with Tom Savini 2 weeks ago.
oh, okay.
And then last Thursday, I don't think anything happened because it was, close to Easter. And this Thursday, there's nothing going on at the Horror Hub channel on YouTube.
Oh.
So, I'm wondering maybe next week we'll have more Down to Hell with Doug Bradley.
That'd be cool. Well, we can't complain. We took a week off during Easter also.
Sure. Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah. We also didn't do an April Fool's joke this year.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought about it. I thought, but I don't know. We've caused a lot of grief.
My idea of saying that the 4K restoration of transmutations actually ended up being a real thing. So I guess reality is weirder than fiction sometimes. Yes. I mean, what's going on with the book club, the Clive Barker book fan book club?
So they've just now started the read for Weave World, and they give you 8 weeks to read the book, so it's going to be a while before the discussion starts. So
I see.
If you're on the Clive Barker Book Club on Facebook, you can start reading Weave World, and I'm anxious for everybody to get to the end because I want to bring up our debate issue. I cut that out of our Jericho episode, but we were debating about the ending of Weave World, when the fugue unraveled, whether it was contained within the backyard of Cal's house or if it just covered up a huge swath of England.
Yeah. I had the idea that it somehow ended up being part of the world where people could walk into it, but
like
you brought up the idea.
Overlapped it, right?
Yeah, but you brought up the idea that it would have been something like a portal would have shown up on Mimi's backyard or something, and people would walk into it that way.
Yeah, like a TARDIS.
Yeah, I guess I would have. Inside. Yeah, I would have to look back into the book and reread it. But it's been so long, and I don't actually have a copy with me at the moment. But
it's also kind of vague, so it's tough because I read it a second time because I wanted to make sure. And when I read it the second time, I did the audiobook version. I thought, okay, this sounds like what I believed, and maybe it's like maybe it's a bias on my part.
Sure, no, I mean it's probably open to interpretation, and
I think so.
Yeah, and I'll take your word for it because you've listened to it more recently than I have. But so cool. So people will have 8 weeks to read the book, and then they go to Facebook on the Clive Barker. What's the complete name of the group?
Clive Barker Book Club.
Clive Barker Book Club. You're one of the moderators there.
Yeah.
And it's created by Lisa Thomas. And so there's a lot of discussions going on there about Clive Barker. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. She just recently posted that if you want to post Clive Barker news, it has to be from either Revelations, Phil and Sarah's website, or from the Clive Barker podcast, which was nice of her.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah. Representing.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to see the adventures of our Jericho Squad 77.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I was actually kind of bummed because I was like, okay, I'm cutting out this little, swath of time that'll be just something fun, for us, and it's not any kind of like work responsibility and stuff. And then, other things got in the way and it didn't happen.
That's life. It's, this is the Easter time, so a lot of people have a lot of stuff on their plates, and this is fun. I love talking to you. I love doing these little news episodes. And if you guys out there listening have any other stuff that you want to send our way that you'd like us to feature on the next episode, a news episode, like if you've, made a fan painting or did something like that, or if you made a fan film or anything that you want to send our way, please do. And we'll be able to talk about it on the next news episode.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, actually, one thing that came up, I was surprised. People were saying, hey, show off your copies of Weave World, right? And so I put out my 25th anniversary Weave World and the tray case one.
Gorgeous.
And my regular hardcover. And somebody said, oh, yeah, that's worth it for the Richard Kirk illustrations. I'm like, heck yeah. And I said, and the children's book version of Weaveworld at the end. And
Yeah.
and this guy goes, "What?" And this was somebody that had the book.
Oh
And I
my
said,
God.
"Yeah, it's got a children's book version of Weaveworld at the end." And then Steve Dillon goes on there and he goes, "Explain." I said, "Well, this was written as a children's book and rejected by publishers, and so he rewrote it for adults."
Yeah, read the extra content on the book.
Yeah. So for anybody out there, that's not just like some kind of an appendix. That's like a whole children's book version of Weaveworld you can read on there.
But does it have illustrations?
It does. Yeah, I think it does have a few.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
I think like Shadwell is in there.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely worth it. I mean, I didn't get a chance to get one of those, but I'm glad that you did.
Yeah, I bought that at was that Powell's? I think that there's this huge bookstore in Portland, Oregon. So I got that when I was down there for one of the screenings of the Cabal Cut.
Oh, that must have been awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Last thing to say is, I guess, buy our merch. Go to tpublic.com/stores/BarkerCast. You have all these mugs and, totes and notebooks and T-shirts and hoodies that you can get with Duels of Blood, Jericho 77, our logos, the Cenobium covers. It's good stuff. And when you buy that, you help us maintain the podcast.
Yeah, we get like $1. But no,
but you get to represent our podcast, and you get to have some cool swag.
Yeah, for me, the exciting part is just seeing that somebody's interested and somebody's buying our, is interested
merch.
In showing off our stuff and our logos and stuff. That's what I like to see.
Yeah,
the dollar is nice too, though. I appreciate it.
Hey, remember, $1 saved is $1 earned.
Yeah, exactly.
And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. Watch for our annual Kickstarter fundraisers to get some cool stuff, and you can buy t-shirts on our TeePublic store. Go to tpublic.com and search for BarkerCast.
Thanks for listening.